Okay, I want to talk about rejecting the term misogyny. Okay, I've had run-ins with some MRAs recently over the word, and I want to reject this word 100%. We need to reject this word 100%. You can't be an effective men's rights activist until you reject this concept 100%, because the term misogyny doesn't just mean woman hater, it's a feminist dog whistle. So, how it's used, there's two ways how the term misogyny is used, okay? One way it's used is to invalidate and attack men and used as a fault terminating cliche, okay? I've seen men in online spaces talk about abusive relationships they've had, right? Like this man has had a relationship with one woman who's abused him, has taken advantage of him, right? Okay, and he's expressed anger at it. He hasn't expressed anger at all women. He's expressed anger at this one particular woman, right? That's all he's done. And feminists will come in and they'll call him misogynistic and say he's got misogynistic vibes. And then they'll imply that the woman mistreats him because he is misogynistic, right? Circular logic, okay? So he's mistreating him, right? And he's got negative feelings towards her. So does she have a time machine? Right? Did she know that she would like have negative feelings towards him and go back in time? Like it doesn't make any sense. It's just gaslighting, right? It's nonsense. That's one way how the term is used, right? And the other way the term is used, it's used as a dog whistle. Okay, and this is the far more insidious way that it's used. So, for example, let's say there's a male space, a male fandom. Let's say comic books, because this is happening in comic books, video games, anime, board gaming, whatever male geek space there is. This has happened countless times. Feminists will come in and they'll say there's a misogyny problem within this fandom. So they say, oh, there's a misogyny problem in comic books. Okay, and there's no misogyny problem in comic books. It's just a false accusation, it's a smear, and it's a dog whistle, and it's a signal for other feminists to come in and dogpile. Okay, and feminists usually only bring up this issue when they're in a gatekeeper position in the fandom. So by the time they bring it up, it's too late. So any man who pushes back and will go, hang on, there's no misogyny here, what are you on about? The feminists will ban them and ostracize them and smear them as misogynists. Okay, that is how the term is used. It's an attack weapon and it's a political tool. The word has been watered down. Okay, so there are men who hate women, but they're very rare. Okay, so if a man mistrusts women or one particular woman or a group of women, right, like feminists, for example, he'll be called a misogynist, right? If men like looking at fictional female characters, like here, the gamer praises censorship of Ashley's outfit in Resident Evil 4 remake, claims original game's panty shots encourage misogynistic behaviour in real life. So this absurdity proves that the term is watered down. It's nothing to do with real life hatred of women. And this proves that feminists are not overprotective of women. They're not out to protect women. They're not overreaching to protect women. Because the way they're acting, it's actually quite clear that the feminists know there's no misogyny, there's no hatred of women. Because if there was real life hatred of women, right, these feminists would not water down the term so much. They'll go, hey, hang on, we're dealing with serious issues here. We want to defend women from real misogyny. Don't water down the term like that. Feminists never do that. Okay, so it proves that they know there's no such thing as misogyny against women, no, and they're not scared of misogyny. There's no fear from these women whatsoever, and it's more proof why the term is invalid. It's invalid. Okay, so let's look here. Misogyny, Wikipedia. Let's read a bit of this. Wikipedia's gate-kept feminist media, right? They control this. They've taken it over. From Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Misogyny is hatred of, contempt for, or prejudice against women. It's a form of sexism that's used to keep women at a lower social status than men. Okay, this is more proof that there's no such thing as misogyny. Okay, because women are not kept at a lower social status than men. Women are actually got a higher social status than men. Okay, male politicians will proclaim that women are the superior sex, like Trump did. Right, men are in general actual female supremacists. They worship women over men, and women worship themselves over men. So this is just bunk. Women are not kept at a lower social status than men. So therefore, misogyny doesn't exist, right? Okay, and this is linking a word that used to mean hatred of women. It's mixing it with feminist theory. Okay, it's a form of sexism that's used to keep women at a lower social status than men, thus maintaining the social roles of patriarchy. There's no such thing as patriarchy. It's conspiracy theory. Okay, this is more proof that this is nonsense. Women have got more rights. Women have got more power than men in society, but somehow there's a patriarchy keeping them down. Misogyny has been widely practiced for thousands of years. It's like a phantom boogeyman. It's everywhere, yet it's nowhere. It's reflected in art, literature, human social structure. What social structure? So human social structures protect women over men, right? Men are disposable. Women are a protected higher caste of extra humans and are a leisure class. Women control the family unit. Women have more rights than men. Historical events, mythology, philosophy, and religion worldwide. So this is a bollocks right here. Okay, like this is nonsense. And look how they link all the other things, misogyny, into all these other things here, right? What pregnancy discrimination? Oh, fuck off. These clowns are not serious, right? Misogyny can be understood by as an attitude held by individuals, primarily by men, and as a widespread cultural custom or system that system doesn't exist since we've got more rights. Sometimes misogyny manifests in obvious and bold ways. Like an invisible phantom. Other times it's more subtle, disguised in ways that provide plausible deniability. So lack of proof of misogyny, when you point it out to these lunatics, that's more proof of misogyny. In feminist thought, misogyny also includes the rejection of feminine qualities. Okay, the average heterosexual male worships feminine qualities, right? Okay, right. So it holds in contempt institutions, works, hobbies, or habits associated with women. This is like, okay, it rejects any aspects of men that are seen as feminine or unmanly. It's actually women who reject unmanly men. So this is gaslighting and projection. Okay, misogyny may or not may not include hate towards LGBT people in the forms of homophobia, transmisogyny, racism, moral prejudice, which may reinforce and overlap with misogyny. So this is intersectional feminist nonsense, linking misogyny to other forms of discrimination. And I'll do a video on intersectionalism, debunking that. I don't want to go too deep into that now, but intersectionalism is just part of the feminist gaslighting tactics, trying to link other marginalised groups to feminism, make the issues about women. Okay, so using the word misogyny validates this hate word, right? That's just used to silence and marginalise men and dog whistle for feminist hatred. So, what word should you use if there's someone who's a legitimate woman hater? You should just use the term woman hater. If someone's a legitimate woman hater, right, you can just use that term. The thing is, men get called woman misogynist all the time, right? For expressing dissatisfaction how he's treated by a woman or women, right? He's called a misogynist, or he's called a misogynist for looking at fictional women and finding them attractive, right? Or he's called a misogynist for no reason at all. So the term is invalid. I'm not an extremist for rejecting this term. The evolution of language is often political, and watering down words and changing the meaning of words for political reasons is a classic political tactic. Read 1984, right? Misogyny is used as a smear, okay? Look, an example of misogyny is violence against women, which includes domestic violence and, in most extreme form, misogynistic terrorism and femicide, okay? Like, terrorism against feminists and women is so fucking rare. I can only think of one high case example of a terrorist action against feminists in the West, in Canada, right? One example in the past 50 years, right? And femicide, there's no such thing as femicide. The concept of femicide comes from Latin American countries where women suffer far less violence than men. Like in Latin American countries, men suffer 10 times more violence than men. Femicide is a nonsense hate speech term. It's the same as white genocide. There's no such thing as femicide. There's no such thing as misogyny. There is no such thing as misogyny. Over and out. Please reject the term if you're serious about this.